Astros win Game 2, even up the World Series at 1 game apiece as Houston snaps a 5-game losing streak in home World Series games. And now we have got ourselves a 1-1 series. Braves going to head back home where they are 5-0 this postseason. They'll have Ian Anderson on the bump. But the Astros bounce back in Game 2, get a huge outing from Jose Urquidy. Final line, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He goes over his strikeout prop of 3.5. But again, it's the top of the lineup for the Houston Astros, delivering, powered by Jose Altuve, who hit his 22nd home run of his postseason career. So Jose Altuve having himself a day, kid. Again, hits his 22nd home run in his postseason career. That's tied for second most all-time with Bernie Williams. And I will point out here that there are more rounds now in the world in this postseason. That's what you're pointing out? How about that he did it in 75 games where it took Bernie 121? You didn't let me get there. Okay. All right, get there now. Okay. We'll redo it. He did it in less games. 16, 69, 45. So take a look at this. Jose Altuve, 22 home runs in the postseason, tied for second most all time. But look, he did it in only 75 games. That's unbelievable, Dermish. It is pretty good. That makes him better than Williams and Ramirez. Jose Altuve, homer in Game 2, 1-1 World Series. Show me the buzzer. Back here with David Samson, won a World Series with the Marlins in 2003. We are all knotted at 1 game apiece. How about the outing from Jose Urquidy, setting the tone from the first inning? Well, Urquidy and Fried. Fried is your ace. You're going for the 2-game road sweep, and you've got your ace on the mound. Urquidy, who has been mediocre with the capital M, and he comes out in the first inning, and he is showing signs of brilliance early, not just because he strikes out the side. What I loved about the first inning is he got himself into a bit of a trouble, and then he gets the strikeout of Soler. I love the fact that he had pace. We talked about it a little bit during the highlight. This game was a 3-hour and 11-minute game, not the 4-hour and 6 marathon from Game 1. Why? Because Urquidy got the sign. He had the ball. He was on the rubber. He was ready to deliver the pitch. And the Braves hitters never stepped out. They never tried to slow it down, and they never got into a rhythm. Urquidy gave them everything they could have wanted, and Fried was the exact opposite. An absolute clunker for him. What did you see particularly from Urquidy that kept the Braves hitters off balance? Well, he was mixing up his pitches way better than he did in his first postseason outing. So when you look at pitch sequence, not only that, he wasn't shaking off his catcher. So he and Maldonado were actually in very good sync during the game. And what I liked, when a pitcher doesn't shake off, that means he is one with the catcher and what the game plan is. And when you look at him going up, down, using Copa's strike zone, which was important, that's the umpire, and he was getting pitches and putting them exactly where he wanted them. And when you've got command of 3 of your pitches, and you're getting swings and misses, and the hitters are getting themselves out early in the count, that's pretty much how you can win a game. And again, we're all excited about Urquidy. 5 innings. 5 innings. Right. 5 and dive. That's what we get excited about now in postseason baseball, 5 innings. It's not 7 anymore. It's not like the old days. It's 5 innings, and let's turn it over to the bullpen. The bullpen was outstanding for the Houston Astros on this night. We used to release 5 and dive. And now you're winning World Series games. Not anymore. Look, Max Fried went 5 innings, but he gave up 6 runs, 5 of them earned. That was worse than a dive. He went 4 innings to get his first swing and a miss on a fastball. What do you make of that? So that was it, right? Now, I didn't see him tipping his pitches, but Fried, I told you before the game started that he's been the best pitcher in the National League since the All-Star break, and you're watching tonight's game thinking that I'm crazy. It can't be. But this is the same pitcher. He wasn't tipping his pitches that I could see, but I will say the Astros were not guessing wrong. They were on everything. Everywhere the location was. On his breaking balls, they weren't sharp. His fastball was not getting misses, and that's what we look at as executives when we're watching the game. If our pitcher is not getting swings and misses, we know it's only a matter of when, not if, he's going to give up runs. Second start in a row this postseason that Fried has been like a number 5 starter, not a number 2 or number 1, and that's bad news for the Braves. This 4-run second inning was really a backbreaker for the Braves. Well, it's not just the error by Rosario, and that's what we're going to show, and that's what we're going to talk about, because it looked like the Keystone Cops out there, everyone running everywhere, and you don't expect that
from a team with as good a defense as the Braves have on the infield. But the biggest play of that half inning was actually after that, when he gives up the hit to Brantley, because that makes it, what was it, a 3-run game.
There was 2 outs.
Right, a 2-out hit, which is what the Astros have done. That, to me, felt like the backbreaker. When you're the GM and you're watching that game, you say, all right, we had the error. We're going to be fine. Just get out of the inning. And then when you don't get out of that inning, that is as deflating as when you don't get a shutdown inning, which is when you hold your opponent to 0 after your team scores for you. And Fried failed in every way. He didn't get shutdown innings when his team scored for him, and he didn't get out of an inning when his defense failed him. And you need your pitcher to do both of those things.
Michael Brantley 5 for 9 in this series. If Jose Altuve's not on this team through 2 games right now, you'd probably argue that Jose Altuve is the World Series MVP at this point. When you take a look, he bounced back after a bad game 1. 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. He gets a double, scores on a sac fly in the first inning on Alex Bregman's sac fly. Then he hits the homer, really the capper there, his 22nd. As you pointed out, he's done it in 75 games. This team will go as Jose Altuve goes.
Are we picking the MVP of the series right now at 1-1?
I'm not. I'm just saying he is certainly in the conversation.
Okay. I've never had an MVP conversation after 2 games. So let's have it right now.
Okay.
Wouldn't it just be Brantley with 5 hits? Or you like Altuve because he got 2 hits today and he was bouncing back from game 1?
I do like that.
Oh, you do?
I
okay.
do.
Brantley would be my MVP.
I think home run plays.
Okay.
Yeah, but look, I pointed out Brantley 5 for 9, and that's darn good.
It is darn good.
Right, and when you get a base hit with 2 outs, that's exquisite situational hitting.
That's darn good.
That is darn good.
Doesn't matter who the MVP is today because we're tied at 1. The best part of this is now, what do we have? We have a 5-game series. We have Atlanta with home field advantage in a 5-game World Series. It's like a division series. 3 in Atlanta, 2 in Houston. The first team to win 3 games is going to get a ring.
That's accurate. That is accurate. Now at this point, I'm rooting for what you predicted, which was Braves in 7. Let's just have that happen. Let's play 5 more games.
Well, either way, I'm going to be here for 5 more games, so we're going to do it. Even if they don't play, you and I are going to do segments.
All right, we will do that. So the Astros even it up at 1 game apiece. Now the series moving to Atlanta. Braves 5-0 at home this postseason. And the one thing I wanted to bring up with you is the fact that now they lose the DH. And certainly that's going to impact the Houston Astros. What do they do now with their outfield aligned with Yordan Alvarez?
Well, you got to play Alvarez. That would be my opinion. I'd be telling the manager, I don't care what our analytics people are saying, I'm going to move Kyle Tucker right there, right smack into center field. I'm going to sit Siri. Hey, Siri, you're sitting. Hey, McCormick, nope, not today. I'm going to put Alvarez in right. I'm going to keep Brantley in left. I'm going to move Tucker from right to center. You got to keep his bat in the lineup as best as you can. Do the National League teams have the advantage because it's their regular lineup, but the American League loses a hitter? I always thought that as an executive for all those years, and you know what? Totally anecdotal, not accurate at all. The fact is Atlanta needed to get 1 of 2 on the road to start the World Series, and they did. They got the split. Would they have preferred to win the second game, win tonight, to be up 2-0? Of course, but you just want the split, so they're not despondent now in their clubhouse. They're showering and getting to the team bus, and they're getting home tonight, doing exactly what they came to do, and they're going to get to Truist Park tomorrow, work out, and get ready for a weekend series.
Is that to take away the narrative? Brian Snitker says, hey, if I told you you're going to get out of Houston here 1-1, you're happy with that, right?
If I told you that we have 5 games, all we have to do is win 3 to get a ring, and we have 3 at home, and it's the first 3, would you take that right now? Yeah.
100%. So Ian Anderson on the bump for Atlanta, going to counter Luis Garcia. That pitching matchup, what do you make of that? What do you think of that in Game 3?
I want everybody to listen to every analyst on every channel. Start at CBS HQ. You can listen to Nothing Personal. Do whatever you want because everyone's going to say the same thing. They're going to say, what do we know? Ian Anderson could go 5 innings and give up 1 run. Garcia could go 6 innings, give up 10 runs, 1 inning, give up 8 runs, or 5 innings, give up no runs. These guys are not consistent. None of the starting pitching has been consistent. So I'm changing my mind, Dermish. It's not about analyzing the starters anymore. It's all about the offense. Who's going to get hot, stay hot, and be hot? That's who's going to win this series. Because the starting pitching, it's all bad everywhere.
All right, I'm curious. You were a high-level executive as a president of the Marlins. So you likely didn't win one for the Gipper speeches like maybe Dusty Baker or Brian Snitker. If I give you the chance here to step into the managerial role, and I know managers don't say a whole lot in the World Series when it comes to rally and speeches and things like that, but what's the message from both managers, both veteran skippers? Of course, Brian Snitker in the World Series for the first time, Dusty Baker looking to win a World Series for the first time as a manager.
So first of all, there's no team meetings during the World Series. But I was preparing to have a team meeting, Game 6 of the 2003 LCS, when we were going to lose and we were down 2-0. I was in the clubhouse preparing to give a speech to the guys, thanking them for that season, for making the playoffs, for beating the Giants. And I was yelled at by Mike Redmond, our future manager who we fired, who was the backup catcher, who said, "Get out there, we're going to win this game." But no team meetings at all. However, you do talk to players individually. You talk to them on the plane. You talk to them in the clubhouse. And what you're doing is a message of positivity if you're Atlanta. You did exactly what you came here to do. And you're just checking to make sure everyone's okay and getting them scheduled and ready for tomorrow's workout and then Friday's game. Dusty Baker, on the other hand, is not going to do a team meeting, but his point of view is different. He gets to say, our guys had their backs against the wall, and they responded. When the top of our lineup is on point the way Altuve is, as he goes, so do we. And we got an outing like we got from Urquidy, who is sharp and sweet and great. Everything is positive. It's the exact opposite of how he was after Game 1. That's the benefit of winning Game 2 at home. You get to spin it as though all's okay. But the reality is they lost home field advantage. But he gets the better spin because he won Game 2.
So as the series goes, 1-1, so are me and David. 1-1. We had Braves in Game 1. You had Braves in Game 2. I had Braves on the money line, Braves on the run line. 1-1. So that's how it is. 1-1 after 2, heading to Atlanta for Games 3, 4, and 5, beginning on Friday night. Luis Garcia against Ian Anderson. First pitch set for just after 8 Eastern time. Still ahead, we'll head back out to Houston. Jim Bowden will join us with his perspective as the Houston Astros even up the series at 1 game apiece. Jose Altuve helping the Astros power to a Game 2 victory. Keep it locked. You're watching CBS Sports HQ. Speaking of exquisite situational hitters, welcome former MLB Executive of the Year and CBS Sports baseball insider Jim Bowden, who joins us from Minute Maid Park in Houston. And Jim, Jose Urquidy really setting the tone there in the first inning. Strikes out the first 2, gives up back-to-back singles, but then strikes out Jorge Soler to end the inning. His tempo, his pace looked great. What did you see from Urquidy?
I saw a real estate agent, right? Location, location, location. He nailed it. He had tremendous command of all his pitches, and his changeup was just ridiculous tonight. In fact, 4 of his 7 strikeouts came on that changeup. So he looked deceptive. He moved the ball around. He was able to own the top of the strike zone when he wanted to. He got the Atlanta Braves out on their front foot. He took advantage of the fact that the Braves swing at the first pitch more than any team in baseball. Urquidy knew that through a lot of off-speed stuff with his first pitch. He was absolutely brilliant, no doubt about it, for his 5 innings.
Were you surprised that Max Fried was ineffective in this game?
Well, the first 2 innings, he couldn't throw his curveball for a strike, right? He just had no feel for it whatsoever. In fact, in those first 2 innings, Carlos Correa was the only Astro hitter to swing at his curveball out of the strike zone. All the other Astro hitters were taking that curveball. So if he doesn't have that pitch, then he's got to rely on the fastball. And they were hunting it, and they jumped all over it. And in fact, if you look at the first 11 batters for Houston, 6 of them got hits. They absolutely ambushed them. Great job hitting. Look, the Houston Astros chased less than any team in the American League in the regular season. They had more contact than anyone. So if you don't have your secondary pitches and you're just going to try to pitch with your fastball, good luck. You got no chance to beat this lineup, and that's what happened. And then by the time Max Fried figured out the feel for the curveball, which happened around the 3rd inning, he pitched really brilliantly until the 6th inning. So for him, unfortunately, the first 2 innings, he just couldn't get the feel of the curveball.
Yeah, too little, too late. It took him 4 innings to get a swing and a miss on a fastball, and it was that 2nd inning that really broke it open. A 4-run second, aided by an error there on Eddie Rosario, who the night before threw out Yuri Gurriel in a big spot in the 8th inning. And, of course, there was a defensive lapse in that situation. But when you take a look at what the Astros were able to do and you look at a guy like Michael Brantley, who is now 5 for 9 in 2 games and continues to come up in clutch spots, what was it like watching him in the last 2 games there in Houston?
The same as I've watched his whole career. I mean, he's got one of the best swings. He's always been a 300 hitter. You know what you're getting with him. He can handle any pitch on either side of the plate, doesn't try to do too much, goes the other way extremely well. And look, we talked about how lethal this Astro lineup is 1-7. It was the best lineup in baseball during the regular season, 1-7, and they showed why in this game, because they put the ball in play. They don't, for the most part, strike out. They make contact, and Brantley just did what Brantley does, as did Jose Altuve, who hit the course, had the double in that first inning, and then the big home run later. I mean, look, this lineup is so deep and so strong. We talk about how many 2-out RBIs they get. You know why they get 2-out RBIs? Because the lineup 1-7 is that good.
Yeah, 46 2-out runs this postseason. I mean, it's absolutely incredible, and that's certainly a recipe for success, certainly a recipe to win a World Series. Now tied at 1 game apiece as the series shifts to Atlanta on Friday night. What are the keys now in this World Series for both teams as the series moves to Atlanta for Game 3 starting Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, the key for Atlanta tonight is they didn't have to use any of their 4 best relievers, which means all of them are going to get 2 days off. Ian Anderson is going to start Friday for Atlanta. He loves pitching at home. He loves the crowd. He was sensational in his last start against the Dodgers in that clinching game for them. So for Atlanta going into Game 3, they're in good position with Anderson on the mound and that bullpen completely rested. The question's going to be for Atlanta, and the key is going to be, do they have enough pitching without Charlie Morton, without a 4th starter? Do they have enough for the 3 games in Atlanta? Now, the one thing that happened tonight that I thought was really good news for the Braves was how good Kyle Wright looked. I mean, he was 95-97. He's got that wipeout breaking ball when it's on. I know he's been inconsistent in his major league career, but the guy that we saw tonight strike out the side, to me, is a very encouraging sign, and he could be a guy that Brian Snitker looks to start one of those games in Atlanta.
Yeah, Braves 5-0 at home this postseason. But credit to you as well, predicting the Astros to win Game 2, and you nearly had the score correct as well. It was a 7-2 final. You nearly had that. I know you've got the Astros to win the World Series. How much confidence now, if you're Dusty Baker, getting a win at home so you don't go down 0-2 heading to Atlanta?
Well, you have a lot of confidence, and I don't think there's any question about that because, as Dusty said to me before the game, he trusts this offense. He wasn't upset about losing Game 1 and the bats being silent because he's watched this team the whole year. They're averaging 6.5 runs per game this postseason. It's what they do. That lineup is that good. So I think he feels really good about it. I said the Astros win in 6. I believe the series is going to come back to Houston. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that's going to happen, but we're going to have a good series. I don't think there's any doubt. I can't wait for Game 3. Why? Because we have 2 of the best rookie pitchers in our sport going at each other. Luis Garcia is getting a much-needed extra day rest, which I think is important for him. And on the other side, you got Ian Anderson, who looks really strong. And because he missed a couple of months during the season, he's extremely in a good position to succeed throughout this month. So it's going to be a really exciting, I think, Game 3 with an evenly matched starting pitcher on each side.
Game 3 Friday night in Atlanta. Jim, looking forward to see you on Friday pregame and postgame here on CBS Sports HQ. Great work there in Houston through the first 2 games of the World Series, my friend. And we mentioned this here, the most 2-out runs in a single postseason. The Houston Astros have 46 2-out runs this postseason. That is second most all time. And look at the team that leads this category. The LA Dodgers, who had 59 2-out runs in a single postseason. What did they do in 2020? Abbreviated season, but they won the World Series. Perhaps this is foreshadowing the Astros win Game 2, even it up at 1 game apiece. Game 3 in Atlanta on Friday night.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.